So I'm about done with this whole topic. My patience has run thin. And so here's my challenge for every man across America. This is happening in your local school board. It's not a matter of showing up to meetings and all this. You need to intervene. You need to show up to the sporting event. Like, this is not happening, actually. You're not competing against my daughter. She has XX chromosomes. You have XY chromosomes. Get off the court. Get out of the pool. It's not going to happen anymore.
Okay, so they're pretending there that up until this point, as they've been talking literally every day about the trans community, a community that they know nothing about and have no curiosity, never finding out anything about. They've gone a couple years now at this point, passing legislation attacking this community, have never found time to actually talk to a trans person. Weird that they weren't able to book that. Now they're done with that, Sabrina. Just passing legislation to destroy these families and all that, lock people up. That's not enough anymore. Now he has a challenge to the men. And if we know one thing, it's that being a true man is about attacking high school athletes. He wants them to intervene, to get involved. It's not happening. It's not up to the schools anymore. It's not up to the sporting associations. You as an individual get to decide what's happening. And how do you think that plays out in practice? What do you think he's calling for there?
Just absolute transphobia. It's just an excuse to be transphobic, especially trying to hide it under the guise of, protecting student athletes, as if athletes who, athletes are going to have like more testosterone than others, even if they are cisgendered. So the fact that he's trying to pretend that that is the source of this issue, it's just an excuse to be transphobic.
Yeah, that's all it is. And obviously the fear is, we know what their base wants. He definitely, if he knows one thing, and he probably knows about one thing, it's that he knows that his base wants to be fired up and sent out with a target. Here are the people that you're supposed to harass. Here are the people you're supposed to intervene. So if the trans swimmer decides, no, actually I'm allowed to swim, so I'm gonna swim. Oh, you're intervening? What does that look like in practice? What do you think that looks like, audience, when it comes to the right? He wants violence against the trans community. He's being very careful with his language. I'm just saying intervene. I don't acknowledge, I'm not playing into the fact that the trans community has been the target of harassment and violence and murder for years and years and years. And not only have we not solved the problem, but as a society, we generally never even acknowledge that it happens. But I'm gonna send all of these Karens and Tuckers out to intervene in school sports. I'm gonna pretend that I care about high school women's sports. You'll notice that they don't even like to shroud it a little bit. They don't even like call for more funding or anything. Like, they don't even really pretend, but they pretend enough to send people at these athletes. He, by the way, Charlie Kirk was suspended by Twitter recently for repeatedly misgendering Rachel Levine. And he, like a lot of these, the Ben Shapiro clones, constantly talk about this community. They don't often come right up to the edge of explicitly calling for violence against teen trans people. But they know what their audience wants, and they don't worry about consequences at this point, Brina.
Exactly. He knows exactly what his followers want. He knows why he has a following at all. I didn't even know that he got suspended, but that's temporary. Like, he's gonna come back and he's gonna do it again. Do you think he's gonna learn his lesson? No. If anything, he's a martyr now, and he'll be like, oh, look at these woke big tech companies trying to censor me. Follow me on Gab. It's just going to help him.
Exactly. Yeah. No, the self-promotion is definitely baked into it. But by the way, while we want to acknowledge the attacks against this community, especially today on a Trans Day of Visibility, we want to acknowledge also some of the good news. And we've looked really hard to try to find some. It's 2022, this is America. It's a bit of a scavenger hunt, but there is a bit. So starting on April 11th, US citizens will be able to select an X as their gender marker on their US passport application, and the option will become available for other forms of documentation next year. So it's a little bit of a slow rollout, but it's gonna be rolled out just in time for Trump's second term, and he'll destroy the whole thing. But right now, the State Department says that in June, US citizens could select their gender on applications without having to submit medical documentation. So that's as of last year, and it's very slowly getting moved out. We have some other measures too. including easing travel, providing resources for transgender children and their families, improving access to federal services and benefits, and advancing inclusion and visibility in federal data. For instance, the TSA will implement gender-neutral screening at its checkpoints with changes in imaging technology, reducing the number of pat-down screenings, removing gender identification from checkpoint screenings, and updating TSA PreCheck to include an X gender marker on its application. They've got a new website for the Department of Health and Human Services that offers resources for transgender and LGBTQI plus youth, their parents, and providers. And so this is good. Like, this is you know how like we're constantly calling on the Biden administration to use executive power, and they basically never do it. They always they pretend that they're the small dog. Well, in this, they're the big dog, kind of, to the extent that they can change some documentation and pat downs. That's not nothing, I suppose. Sabrina, what do you think?
I mean, I especially like that last point of having like gender neutral pat downs. Yeah, I think nobody likes having that done to them by TSA. So if it changes the way that they do that a little bit, I think that's good for everybody all around, but especially for our trans folks out there as well.
Exactly. Look, I'm not a member of the trans community. I will leave it up to them to decide how you balance these sorts of limited administrative bureaucratic things against the all-out assault. But anyway, there's a little bit more representation too. Elliot Page recently tweeted, so his character on the Umbrella Academy is going to come out as be revealed as trans in the upcoming season. I also just happened, it was linked on that, but Elliot said that wearing his Oscars 2022 tux was pure trans joy. And I know that even identifying these things in light of how much is being done on the other side is a very unbalanced scale, but we're trying. We're trying.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.